Hello and welcome back to Mexico News Network's Breaking News. Remember to stay informed 24/7 on our website www.mexiconewsnetwork.com and also to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Google+. You'll find us, of course, as Mexico News Network. Let me tell you quickly that we are shooting and broadcasting from the beautiful Riviera Maya, directly from El Dorado Royal Spa Resort by Charisma, a gourmet-inclusive, adults-only resort in the heart of the Mexican Caribbean. Now, here are more information for you. Usually, when people hear the word grasshopper, they think of insects, but they do not normally think about food, do they? In Mexico, however, you can find this critter in nearly any market. They can be consumed in many ways: dusted with chili powder, roasted with garlic, sprinkled with lime juice, and some people think that entomography, the consumption of insects as food, will be in our dietary future. Though they don't look exactly delicious, they are packed with protein and their harvesting has a low impact on the environment. In an interview with The Guardian, Belgian entomologist Arnold van Huys said that the farming of insects generates 10 times less greenhouse gases than farming livestock. In the year 2013, the United Nations published a book promoting edible insects as a solution for some of the world's foremost problems. With hunger and malnutrition being so prevalent in so many countries, it only makes sense to cultivate animals with 80% edible bodies, as opposed to the 40% usually consumed of a cow's body, for example, and that do not require 10 pounds of feed to get 2 pounds of meat. Insects are in fact far more nutritious than more common sources of protein. For instance, 100 grams of top sirloin beef contain about 29 grams of protein, in addition to a whopping 21 grams of fat, while 100 grams of grasshoppers in fact contain 20 grams of protein and a measly 6 grams of fat. Mexico has a long-standing tradition of eating grasshoppers, so entomography is not entirely strange for its citizens. However, eating chapulines, which is the word for grasshopper in Spanish, can be expensive though. They cost more than pork and chicken, sometimes as much as beef or even shrimp. Grasshoppers may not be such a good option for people who wouldn't normally have the money for meat. The problem, however, is not it's scarce. Rather, harvesting them is disorganized and often illegal and difficult. Only a few hundred tons of chapulines are collected from a couple of regions in Mexico for food on a yearly basis. Chapulines, however, can be quite affordable if you buy them very close to where they are harvested. But once intermediaries get involved and start shipping harvests around the country, the price starts increasing and sometimes threefold. If the idea of finding, cleaning, and handling grasshoppers makes you nervous, last year, Togolese designer Mansour Orsiana created a product called Lepsis, a trendy food dehydrator type of device that grows and dispatches grasshoppers for your plate. It was featured in the July issue of Wired, in fact. Insects were a great source of protein, so on days when we didn't have enough to eat at home, scavenging for grasshoppers and crickets was a strategy we could always rely on, and nature never failed to deliver, said Orsiana during an interview with Wired. Outside of Mexico, there are other countries where bugs are easily enjoyed, including Thailand, Ghana, China, Brazil, Australia, Japan, the Netherlands, the US, only to mention a few. Last year, the United States Aeronautics Space Agency, the NASA, announced its brand new project, Mars 2020. According to the agency, it seeks to determine whether the Martian atmosphere is capable of sustaining life. Among the many people working to develop the technology for this mission, one of them is Mexican-born engineer Luis Enrique Velasco. Velasco's job is to visualize the design of the robots in 3D images before they are built, and now he's actually collaborating with the Mars 2020 automatic rover project. This mission is almost a replica of the one we sent earlier on, the Curiosity, and we call it the MSL, and it is a scientific laboratory roving on tires, Velasco told Spanish news agency EFE. The group of experts that are working at the NASA Jet Propulsion Laboratory used 3D images created by Dr. Velasco to simulate and analyze different scenarios. The resulting information is used by the design team to make changes. Dr. Velasco shared that, compared to Curiosity, Mars 2020 will prepare the ground for human exploration on the red planet. He's working on a system that the rover is going to use to collect particles for soil analysis. The Mexican found his passion at a very young age when he learned about the advances in astronomy and mathematics made by the Maya civilization. With the help of some American friends, the young Velasco managed to enroll into Brigham Young University in Utah, where he studied mechanical engineering. According to him, the key to his success is that he holds on tight to his dream to be an expert in innovative technologies. You've got to be an expert. I was working on my stuff. NASA was looking for an expert in my field, so they just invited me to join the team, stated Velasco to Mexican news agency Notimex. At NASA, he found that he was not the only Mexican working for the agency. Velasco said that there are so many of his countrymen collaborating in different areas, such as mechanical design, engineering, the financial team, and much more. Dr. Luis Enrique Velasco also said that he dreams of coming back to Mexico someday, especially to his home state of Chiapas, to share his experience and help the youth roll into science. Frida Kahlo is one of the best-known characters of the artistic world. She was a woman of strong character, defined artistic style, and particular taste. Here is today's feature story. Frida Kahlo was originally from Mexico. Born in Mexico in the city of Mexico City in Coyoacán, one of the oldest districts in the city. Born on July the 6th of 1907, she was registered in fact as Magdalena Carmen Frida Kahlo Calderón, the daughter of Guillermo Kahlo, originally named Wilhelm Kalm, a Hungarian-German origin, and Matilde Calderón, of Spanish native origin. Frida Kahlo was a woman who had a difficult life in many ways, physically, emotionally, and in her love life. At the mere age of 6, she unfortunately caught polio, a disease that didn't allow her right leg to develop adequately, reason why it stayed short and thinner. Frida used to wear long skirts and pants to cover her condition during her childhood. However, it did not keep her from living and enjoying life as much as possible, given the physical demeanors. At the age of 15, she was accepted to join the prestigious National High School with the extraordinary vision of turning into a doctor in the future. It was right here, in this same institute, during the same period of time, where muralist Diego Rivera was in fact creating one of his masterpieces and also working for the school on the design and paint of a new mural in the conference room. This is the same year when Frida changes her name, when Frida in fact changed her name to Frida and joins a socialist nationalist political group called Cachucas. One of Frida's most tragic moments in her life was in the year 1925, when she was only 18 years old. She was on board a bus when it was suddenly violently hit by a tram, causing a dramatic accident where Frida was severely injured with multiple fractures in her spine and also in her pelvis, injuries that years later would prevent her from becoming a mother. It's precisely during the months of her recovery when Frida started painting. She began using watercolor and moved on to oil on canvas. Her first professional painting was an attempt of a gift to recover her back then boyfriend Alejandro Gomez Arias, a self-portrait in a velvet dress. A beautiful painting inspired on Alejandro's favorite artwork, Botticelli's Venus. A few years later, Frida and Diego were introduced and something instantly happened. A love-hate, passionate and intense relationship suddenly took off. Just a year after they met, they got married in a civil union in Frida's native Coyoacán. Their life together was mainly revolving around on Diego's work routine. This is why they lived in San Francisco, Philadelphia, Detroit, where they also related to other artists, photographers, sculptors, and more. The life of Diego and Frida is a mix of bittersweet moments from Frida's miscarriages up until Diego's job losses, Frida's physical setbacks, and her multiple hospitalizations. These and every single challenge in her life were the moments that she portrayed on every single one of her paintings. Work which more than once was classified as surrealist, to what Frida commented, "I never paint dreams, I paint my own reality." Very harsh, but a true answer to what happened throughout her entire life. Frida had several exhibitions, New York, Paris, Mexico, and just as her art, her relationship with Diego was also all over the place. In the year 1939, they get divorced, only to get remarried sometime later, but they agreed to live separate lives. Both Frida and Diego cheated on each other, but what made and urged her to get a divorce was Diego's affair with Frida's younger sister, Cristina. Their agreement worked perfectly regarding their artistic influence. Diego was Frida's #1 admirer and the one who kept encouraging her, and she was his toughest critic. But their love for each other was indisputable. Frida always loved her Diego up until the very last moment of her life. In the year 1954, on the 13th of July, the unparalleled Frida Kahlo passed away. The cause of her death was officially reported as pulmonary embolism, but there are some theories and beliefs that indicate a totally different story. One says that it could have been an accident overdose of medicine. Another theory suggests that it was an agreement between Frida and Diego, or Frida and her sister, who helped her with her leaving the world that had betrayed and hurt her so much. And given her the last entry in her diary, we can imagine these theories might be true. This very revealing entry reads, I hope the exit is joyful and hope never to return. Frida, her departure from this world left us uncertainty. Days before her death, she gave Diego a ring for their 25th wedding anniversary. With this act, Diego pondered and questioned the fact that she decided on giving it to him 17 days before the actual date, to what she only replied, because I feel I am going to leave you very soon, leaving us all concerned of what really happened. Frida's wake was held in the impressive Palacio de Bellas Artes, where thousands of close friends, family, politicians, and admirers gathered in the venue to give the last goodbye to the great Mexican artist. Today, her work is distributed all over the world, and the house where she was born, lived, and died is today the Frida Kahlo Museum, and some spaces seem to be left just as she did. She is the most famous Mexican female artist in the world, and her paintings have been sold for millions of dollars. Her style is crude, somber, and provokes strong emotions, portraying the sense of life the great Frida Kahlo was. Thank you for joining us. I am your host, Elisa Carballo, and this was all for today. We'll see you on the next edition of our breaking news stories. Don't forget, we are shooting and broadcasting directly from El Dorado Royal Spa Resort by Charisma, and also keep informed 24/7 via our social networks on Google+, Facebook, and Twitter. You'll find us as Mexico News Network, and on our website, www.mexiconewsnetwork.com. We'll see you next time.